Look up from your telescope, take me on this journey home. I don't wanna wait no more. Lay me down behind the
All right, we've made it through the second break of this season. We only got one more to go. Let's get into these episode 12 predictions. All American left us off after episode 11 on a very, very cliffhangy note after Olivia stole the body cam footage and released it to the public and on her podcast, and is definitely choosing violence, child. Whew. But before I get into my full episode 12 predictions, I would like to remind you all to watch, just in case you haven't already, my Let's Talk About All American coverage with Erica Vane video. In that video, I detail how things on my channel will work moving forward and put everyone on notice. If you have any negative motives and disrespect on your heart and you want to spew my way or any other viewer or commentator's way, what will happen as a result, in addition to talking about last weekend's incident and how I'm moving forward from it. Everyone who is interested in continuing to be a part of this community and are interested in this community getting better will watch that video. And just know that the things said in that video apply to this video and every video moving forward, so make sure that you move accordingly. Thanks. All right, so Spencer asked something of his teammates that could jeopardize the rest of their season after seeing everything that's going on. If you missed it, I also broke down an interview that the showrunner NK did with TV Guide where she talks about Olivia releasing the body cam footage having serious ramifications for everyone, not just Laura. And I think that this is what we're going to see in this episode. We're definitely going to see the ripple consequences of what this looks like. And in particular, it's going to affect Spencer and people in Crenshaw because Tamika is from this community and Tamika literally represents everyone who is in this community. So it really feels like if this could happen to her, it can happen to them. And we've already seen on numerous occasions Spencer have run-ins with the cops within his community, whether it's him and Jordan getting yanked out the car and thrown onto the ground, or the police trying to pull the gun on him and Dillon at the ice cream shop. So we already know that tensions are high, and in the story that we're getting, it's mirroring a lot of what we're seeing in present day. And in an act of solidarity, and not only for Olivia in the action that she took, but in also for his community, Spencer is going to make a choice to try to push the team to make a stand. And I'm going to jump out on a limb here with my predictions because I really wasn't sure before, but I'm just going to make a prediction because it can kind of go either way. But I think that they're still going to wind up going to playoffs, so they're not going to sit out or throw a game, but maybe they definitely will take a knee or make a very grand gesture to signify that they do not support the police in their neighborhood, that they are probably for defunding the police or abolishing the police, and that becomes a public spectacle. Now, that might be something that could provide conflict for the team moving forward in the season, because if there are some type of rules within the district in which players cannot do certain things, like players can't protest or players can't make certain statements or acts, then that might come down to like a committee deciding whether they're going to disqualify Crenshaw or not, or basically what the fate of Crenshaw is going to be. So again, I definitely think that we are going to see Crenshaw still playing the game. In this episode, we do get a little bit of football that we see in the trailer. And this might be the episode in which Spencer looks like he's tackling Dean, payback for Jordan, and I don't feel bad about it. Not that I want anybody to get hurt, but child, Dean been asking for it for quite a while, and him hitting Jordan the way that he did and ultimately ending the rest of his senior year season is just too much for me, and he needs to catch something. But anyway, that might happen in this episode. And again, I definitely think that they're just going to make a very public act of support for Tamika, her family, and their community, and pushing back against law enforcement. Laura is furious and left to deal with the consequences, as she should be. We see in the trailer, like the strongest point of this episode trailer is when Laura's like, well, how did they get the footage? What happened? And Olivia just steps down in her calm and her power and her poise and just like, I gave it to them. And what? And Laura has every right to be furious. Olivia has every right to feel like she needed to do something. And because she had the proximity to a specific piece of evidence that they needed, she thought that that was the right thing to do for her. If you haven't already, check out my video where I say, should have stolen the body cam footage? Because in that video, I go into depth about the pros and the cons of her actually doing this and all of the repercussions that could come from it. I'm not going to do that here in this predictions video, so you can definitely watch that one. Linked in the cards above in the description box down below. But I definitely think that we're going to see Laura and Olivia bumping heads a lot this episode. It's going to be kind of hard for Laura though, because she's still walking on eggshells about Olivia's relapse and about not catching it and not being there. So while she is definitely furious with her, I don't think that she's going to catch all the smoke that Olivia probably should catch behind this, just because of Olivia's current personal situation. And maybe that's what sends her running to Grace, because in the trailer we see Laura actually take time to go talk with Grace, and they are talking about social injustice in particular. So they're definitely talking about the situation at hand, what's going on. By now, I'm pretty sure Grace would have found out that Olivia has leaked the body cam footage and everything has blown up. And I'm really looking forward to that. It's two scenes that I'm really looking forward to in this episode, and it's the scene with Billy and his father, which we're going to talk about shortly, and the scene with Laura and Grace, because I think that Grace is going to provide such great insight, and we're going to see a kind of turn of the corner moment for Laura. I think that she has done her best within her family and within her relationship, but a blind spot for her is race, and being able to raise these kids in a way that they identify with their blackness and they're dropped in to that portion of themselves. And it's very hard to do if you don't know it, you don't live it, and Billy hasn't really helped her with that. So I think that Grace is going to provide a lot of insight into this portion of her kids' identity, as well as being able to really connect to a community in which Laura serves as DA. Like, South Crenshaw is a part of that. She is the DA of all of LA. So I'm really looking forward to this scene. And as I mentioned, I'm looking forward to seeing Billy and GW. Billy and GW will face off in this episode, and Billy gains clarity from the conversation, getting the confirmation of what I would assume was a very angry time in his life after his mother died. We saw young Corey and Billy fall out after what I'm assuming was his mother's death, because we don't really know the context of when that particular scene happened when they showed us that flashback. But I'm going to assume that it's that, because it's that same aggression and isolation that he was interacting with Corey with, that it might have transferred over to D'Angelo. And once he actually had the run-in with D'Angelo, in that moment he loses his temper and beats him up by way that D'Angelo described. And yes, we can call him D'Angelo now, since he's going to be Dillon and Spence's little stepdaddy, and we're moving forward to shipping them, Grace and D'Angelo. So, hey D'Angelo, welcome to Erica's like list. Don't get too comfortable, because you do be tripping. I think Billy and GW having a conversation is long overdue. Earlier on in this season, we definitely got to see tensions there, where Billy disagreed with whatever happened between GW and his mom, and he felt like GW just sent his mom away, and GW stepped up like, you have no idea what you're talking about, so don't speak on things that you don't know. And they both have a lot of anger behind this thing that they really won't go into depth about. So I think in this episode we are going to actually get that conversation that we've been waiting to have, and dive a little bit deeper into what's going on there. Simone is worried about Jordan and turns to his friends for help. I think that with that, we're just going to see Simone trying to pull Jordan out of a funk. And maybe now we're going to start to see him not just in a funk about not being able to play football, but Laura is moving forward with the annulment. If you haven't already, I did my episode 13 synopsis breakdown video, where we actually get a little tidbit or preview into what plans Laura has for the two of them, and I definitely think that she's pushing the annulment. We have seen clips of them sitting across from her with papers on the desk, and she has not forgotten about this, even with everything that is going on right now. So I think that Jordan has a lot to be depressed about, and Simone, as the good girlfriend that she is going to try her best to cheer him up, the same way that they all rallied around Spencer and went to the cabin that episode to try to cheer Spencer up. I think that we're going to see something similar to that in this episode, but that is going to take a backseat to all the drama surrounding the body cam footage being taken. So we won't get a full-on episode like the cabin episode, but we'll get little elements of it and them trying to cheer Jordan Jordan up. And I think that that's going to provide good levity and a little bit of a break of this intense drama that we're going to see in this episode, because the subject matter at hand is very, very important, very, very intense. And it's going to provide enough drama of its own. So I'm looking forward to these little breather moments that we'll have with everyone trying to, get Jordan to turn the corner. And when it comes to Olivia this episode, y'all, I really think we're just going to see sis sit back and watch how everything is played out. She's still going to be fighting and marching or protesting and doing what she can there. But after making the decision of taking the body cam footage and releasing it, there's nothing else that she can actually do right now. So now she's just going to feel the consequences. She's going to, feel the response from Laura. She's going to see, how the releasing of the body cam footage actually impacts the community and if it's going to help or hurt the case. She's going to still be doing what she can. We'll probably see her and Kia at some point in this episode, but it's going to be a lot of learning for Olivia. I think that she's going to be taking in a lot in this episode, and we won't actually see her doing, pushing, or basically creating additional conflict, because the releasing of the body cam footage is the driving force for her conflict in this episode. And that is it. That is my episode 12 predictions video. Please make sure that you go and watch my episode 12 preview video as well as my episode 12 synopsis breakdown video, because I try not to say things that I have already said. I try to dive a little bit deeper or add clarity around some things that I already said. So you really kind of do need to watch those two videos as well to get my full episode 12 predictions. They're not just in this episode. I really am building off of things that I said in the preview video and the synopsis video. So be sure to check those out. They'll be linked in the cards above in the description box down below. And now it is your turn. Tell me what your predictions are for episode 12, season 3, All American, which is going to return on May 17th. I am so excited that we are actually getting a new episode. This episode will premiere, and then we'll get another episode a week later, and then we're going back on the break, y'all. It will be the third and final break of season 3. It'll be about 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks as well. And then once we come back, we'll be able to go right through till the season finale, which is going to be on July 19th. We almost made it through season 3, y'all. We are more than halfway there. I also will be going live on May 17th. I think I'm going to go live after the episode. I haven't decided if I'm going to do before or after, but I think I'm going to do after the episode. And let me know if y'all want a live reactions video for that in the comment section of this video as well, because I can definitely make that happen. Yeah. Until my next amazing All American video, I love you guys so much. Check out my All American playlist link right here. If you're looking for something else to watch, I always got 2 suggestions for you right here. And I'll see you later. Bye.